Broadspeed Jaguar XJ12C, the big cat that roared but stumbled. By the mid-1970s, Jaguar sought to rekindle its racing glory, and in an audacious move, British Leyland commissioned Broadspeed to transform the elegant XJ12C into a fire-breathing touring car capable of taking on the likes of BMW and Ford in the European Touring Car Championship. What followed was an intriguing but ultimately ill-fated experiment that left an indelible mark on Jaguar's motorsport history. Engineering the beast, the technical breakdown. At the heart of the Broadspeed Jaguar XJ12C lay a heavily modified version of Jaguar's legendary 5.3-litre V12 engine. Originally designed for luxurious grand touring, this all-aluminium masterpiece was extensively reworked, featuring high-lift camshafts, a revised fuel injection system from Lucas, and a custom Broadspeed exhaust that gave it an unmistakable roar. In race trim, the V12 churned out a staggering 550 horsepower at 8,000 RPM, an impressive figure for the era. However, harnessing that power proved challenging. The drivetrain, which featured a 5-speed ZF manual gearbox, struggled to cope with the immense torque, leading to frequent failures. The rear axle featured a race-spec limited slip differential, but even that was tested to its limits under the strain of prolonged competition. The XJ12C's cooling system was another area of concern, with high operating temperatures often leading to engine failures mid-race. The chassis, while stiffened with seam welding and fitted with a full roll cage, still bore the weight of its luxury car origins. Despite Broadspeed's efforts to trim excess pounds through acid dipping the shells, aluminium and fiberglass panels, perspex windows and a stripped interior, the XJ12C tipped the scales at around 1,500 kilograms, considerably more than the BMW 3.0 CSLs and Ford Capris it aimed to beat. The weight distribution was front-heavy, causing additional stress on the front suspension and tyres. Suspension modifications included adjustable coil springs, stiffer anti-roll bars, and racing dampers, which helped somewhat to tame the big cat's notorious body roll. The braking system was another area of concern. While upgraded with ventilated discs and high-performance calipers, the car's sheer mass meant brake fade was a persistent issue in longer races, often requiring strategic pit stops for cooling adjustments. Aerodynamics and styling, a menacing presence. Visually, the Broadspeed XJ12C was nothing short of breathtaking. The road-going XJ Coupe's sleek lines were amplified with flared wheel arches, an aggressive front air dam, and a subtle rear spoiler to aid high-speed stability. The car's livery, often decked out in British racing green with prominent Union Jacks, ensured it stood out on the grid. Wide Avon racing slicks sat under the flared arches, providing much-needed grip, but tyre wear remained a concern due to the car's weight and power delivery characteristics. To address aerodynamic inefficiencies, Broadspeed experimented with various front-end designs, including larger intakes to improve airflow to the radiator and oil coolers. The racing campaign trials and tribulations. The Broadspeed XJ12C made its competitive debut in the 1976 European Touring Car Championship, with seasoned drivers like Derek Bell, Andy Rouse, and John Fitzpatrick at the helm. Expectations were high, but reality soon set in as the car struggled with teething issues. 1976 European Touring Car Championship. Highlights. Silverstone 4 hours. Despite showing promise in qualifying, mechanical failures led to an early retirement. Brands Hatch. The car demonstrated competitive pace running near the front before overheating forced it to retire. Spa 24 hours. A grueling test for any machine, the XJ12C suffered fuel delivery issues and eventually retired after 12 hours. For the 1977 season, Broadspeed worked tirelessly to improve reliability, with some success. The car managed a few promising finishes. 1977 European Touring Car Championship highlights. Monza, a respectable finish in 5th place showing improved durability. Nürburgring, the car demonstrated its power on the straights but was hampered by handling challenges. Silverstone, a rare moment of triumph with a podium finish, albeit aided by retirements from quicker rivals. Despite flashes of brilliance, persistent issues with overheating, fuel consumption, and drivetrain reliability meant the XJ12C never achieved sustained success. British Leyland, facing financial difficulties, pulled the plug on the project at the end of the 1977 season. What happened to the cars after racing? Broadspeed Engineering produced a total of 4 factory-backed Jaguar XJ12C race cars between 1976 and 1977. These vehicles were developed under contract from British Leyland to compete in the European Touring Car Championship. The first car, designated as the prototype with chassis number BELJC-001, was used for testing and development purposes. The subsequent 3 cars, including chassis numbers BELJC-002 and BELJC-003, were built for competitive racing. Despite their advanced engineering and powerful V12 engines, the Broadspeed XJ12Cs faced challenges with reliability and weight, leading to limited success on the track. Quote, "In January 1977, it was announced that there will be a 2-car team in all European Touring Car Championship events and a change of drivers. Andy Rouse, Derek Bell will be joined by John Fitzpatrick, Tim Schenken. The new XJ12C race cars would be lighter weight and more aerodynamic." End of quote. Among other race modifications, the body shells were acid-dipped to reduce weight and spoilers redesigned, with a deep wraparound rubber rear spoiler on the boot lid to improve handling. The deep front air dam was made more angular, and a front splitter added to provide a measure of downforce. The 16-inch GKN Kent alloys were replaced with 19-inch Dunlop low-profile tyres for split-rim 5-spoke wheels, and the flared wheel arches modified to accommodate. During the 1977 season, regulations changed, allowing the use of a dry sump system, and it was implemented on the last built car, although never fully developed. Brakes were fed by air scoops to help with cooling. Among the 4 factory-backed Broadspeed Jaguar XJ12C race cars produced, all are known to have survived to the present day. Chassis number BELJC-001, the prototype vehicle, was retained by Broadspeed for testing and development during the 1977 season. In 2008, the prototype Broadspeed XJ12 5.3 Coupe 001 was acquired by the championship-winning historic car racer Chris Scragg. Prior to this, the car had remained in the ownership of Jaguar cars at their Coventry Museum until it was acquired by a German designer, who then subsequently sold it on to JD Classics, from whom Chris Scragg secured the car. In subsequent historic races with some more development, 001 achieved success in a number of events. BELJC-002. Upon Broadspeed's closure, it was rebuilt by Bob Kerr and features uprated 1977 specification suspension. It formed part of Jaguar enthusiast Alan Lloyd's private collection before being acquired by its current owner. It has run no fewer than 3 times in the Goodwood Festival of Speed and is also eligible for the recently created race series for 1970s/80s touring cars. Its roof is signed by both original team drivers Derek Bell and Andy Rouse. The car still runs on a wet sump system, now utilizing a reserve tank which fed oil under gas pressure, improving oil supply to the engine under braking. As of January 2025, the current whereabouts of 002 are not publicly documented. BELJC-003 is presently owned by the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust. As one of the original race cars, it has been preserved and occasionally appears at classic car events. Driving impressions of BELJ-C-003. The car that finished second at the Nürburgring remains in near original condition today, preserved by the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust. Unlike many classic racers that undergo frequent rebuilds, this example retains much of its authentic character and is used primarily for demonstration runs rather than competition. Even today, the Broadspeed XJ12C remains a challenging car to drive. Its massive weight and mechanical fuel injection system demand skill and patience to keep it running smoothly. The interior, while luxurious by race car standards, features the familiar walnut-veneered dashboard of the road-going XJ12C, a stark contrast to the ferocious roar of the V12 lurking beneath. The driving experience is both awe-inspiring and demanding. The heavy clutch and unassisted steering require significant effort, especially at low speeds. However, once unleashed, the XJ12C surges forward with astonishing force. The 4-speed manual gearbox offers smooth shifts, and the wide racing tyres provide impressive traction, ensuring every bit of power is transmitted to the tarmac. Slowing the XJ12C down is another matter altogether. The Group 2 regulations restricted front brake disc sizes to 300mm, which proved inadequate given the car's weight and power. The rear inboard brakes, prone to overheating, added further stress to the drivetrain components. BLJC004 was previously owned by the Jaguar Heritage Trust. It was sold by the Trust in 1997 and is noted for being the most original survivor, having never been restored or modified, and remains in its 1977 racing specification. This car was brought to Australia when it was purchased by Peter Sloss of Dulwich Hill in Sydney, who was only the second owner. In a recent chat, Peter confirmed that BELJ C-004 was the dry sump version and was in very poor condition mechanically when he received it. When he elected to sell it some years later, around 2010, it was put back in running condition and shown to Jaguar Drivers Club of Australia members, as per the attached photos. Peter noted that he had to keep it out of reach on a hoist most of the time as the shell was acid-dipped and very thin. Consequently, it was prone to being dented when it was leaned on. The car was never raced while in Australia, but it was taken to Oran Park for a driving test and photographic session by the Australian Jaguar magazine. Comment by the drivers: the company was naive, I suppose they expected too much too soon. They had promised success, and it never came. They could have had all the success they wanted in 1978. We needed time to develop away some of the problems of the car. If we had been able to do that, the car would have won every race in the European Series. If Leyland had had the foresight to stay in 1978, it would have realised the CSL would no longer have been competitive, and the Jaguar would have walked it. Andy Rouse. The BMW was a properly developed car. I think Leyland were short-sighted in stopping the development of the Jaguar. They got keyed up about winning, but just running the car all over Europe was a tremendous fillip to the morale of the dealers, and the public loved it. Derek Bell. Specifications at a glance. Engine 5.3-litre single overhead cam V12. Power 550 brake horsepower at 8,000 revolutions per minute. Transmission 5-speed ZF manual. Weight approximately 1,500 kilograms. Top speed 180 plus miles per hour. Key races: European Touring Car Championship 1976 to 77. The New Avengers XJ12C, Steed's stylish ride. The Broadspeed XJ12C also gained fame on the small screen as John Steed's car in the 1970s TV series The New Avengers. The car, painted in a striking combination of green with gold pinstripes, exuded class and power in equal measure. The vehicle used in the show was not a full racing spec car, but was modified to include visual enhancements and a more aggressive stance to match Steed's suave persona. After filming, the car was sold into private ownership, undergoing various restorations over the years. It had appeared at numerous classic car shows and Jaguar enthusiast events, where it was a fan favourite due to its connection to the cult television series. However, in recent years, the car was reported to be in poor condition when it was last seen at auction in 2015, where it fetched £62,000, far exceeding its original estimate of £10,000 to £12,000. Despite its deteriorated state, its cultural significance drove up the price. When last seen, it was being restored, but the business failed. Since then, its whereabouts have become something of a mystery, with speculation about whether it resides in a private collection or has been left to languish in storage. Celebrating 50 years of the Jaguar XJ12C, a legacy of power and elegance. As we mark the 50th anniversary of the Jaguar XJ12C's release, it remains an enduring icon of motorsport ambition and engineering prowess. Though its time on the track was fraught with challenges, the XJ12C captured the imagination of enthusiasts with its thundering V12 power, imposing presence and undeniable Jaguar charm. From the high-speed straights of Monza to the grueling endurance of Spa, the Broadspeed XJ12C stood as a testament to British craftsmanship and determination, taking on lighter, more agile rivals with brute force and sophistication. Despite its shortcomings in reliability and weight, the XJ12C remains a beloved figure in Jaguar's motorsport history, embodying the marque's relentless pursuit of excellence. Over the decades, the Broadspeed XJ12C has transcended its racing struggles to become a cherished collector's item, appearing at prestigious historic events and delighting crowds with its unmistakable silhouette and legendary roar. Whether showcased on the concours lawn or carving through a vintage racing circuit, the XJ12C continues to inspire admiration and respect. As we celebrate 50 years of this remarkable machine, the Broadspeed Jaguar XJ12C stands not only as a symbol of Jaguar's racing ambition, but also as a reminder of a golden era of motorsport, where bold ideas, engineering ingenuity and raw power ruled the track. Here's to the next 50 years of keeping the legend alive.